Right out of the gate, the judge hits him with, "You lack the maturity." Oof. When a sentencing hearing starts like this, you already know the tone is about to be brutal. But stick around, because what unfolds is a mix of legal reality check, tough love, and some surprisingly emotional moments.
Schedule matter for sentencing this morning. His lawyer, Luke Knopfsinger, was actually, I think, his original attorney and has been shepherding this all through sobriety court. So Luke has a good handle on this and has been an advocate for Mr. Matthysse. He was rolling into one direction and Rick was rolling in the other. But Ms. Canfield, what would you like me to know?
Oh, Your Honor, I guess as far as positives, Ricky is in contact with Miss Kiefer. He does keep her apprised of difficulties he has with transportation or getting to meetings or when he forgets about things. He has made extensive efforts to find employment that will work with the program. So I do want to give him credit for those things, but what we have the difficulty with is compliance with the terms of the program. He's still drinking, he's missing tests, he's having positive tests. And I just don't think that he has the ability to stay away from alcohol right now, even though he's ordered to do so. And that would be the healthiest thing for him with his treatment modalities that he needs to complete. He missed an individual session, he missed a group session. Throughout the course of his probation, he hasn't even been able to move to the next phase. Yes, I do think that maturity or lack thereof has something to do with it, but I also don't know that Mr. Matthysse has the best support system other than this court and the sobriety court program to try to help him through this either. I know his grandmother was driving him for a period of time to meetings, and then her car broke down, so he wasn't able to have transportation either, according to the report.
Quick legal insight. In sobriety court, missing tests or skipping sessions isn't just slipping up. It's treated almost like a breach of contract. You're promising the court you'll follow strict guidelines in exchange for staying out of jail. When you blow that trust, judges usually clamp down fast. Notice how the prosecutor is building a pattern here. Missed sessions, positive tests, no progress. For a young defendant, that adds up fast.
I don't know that he's putting the same efforts into the program that he would be for finding employment, which is concerning. I don't know that he's ready to yet. He is very young, and there's a very significantly dangerous pattern developing. So I do think that a significant period of time in custody is warranted because of the violations thus far, and this not being the first one. I don't think that we can leave him in the sobriety court program. I do see that there was not a recommendation for revocation. Perhaps it would be easier for him to comply with the normal term of probation. However, that's not going to work either if he doesn't stop drinking when he's out of custody. And therein lies the rub, I believe, for Mr. Matthysse. It'll take away the support of the other participants in the program, but hopefully he'll at least maintain a sponsor, go to some meetings, and do the best that he can on regular probation if the court alters this to such a term. But I do think that the deferred jail as recommended is appropriate. I believe he's got 13 days of credit that should be applied. And I do think that we can no longer leave a position utilized in the sobriety court for Mr. Matthysse. He just isn't progressing there. And there are so many others that need it. So I would ask.
And here's the emotional layer. The court isn't just punishing him. They're basically saying, we're the only support system you've got. That's heavy. But it also shows how serious the underlying pattern is. DUI-related behavior combined with youth plus lack of structure equals a judge's worst nightmare. And you can hear it. They're genuinely worried he's spiraling towards something worse.
That if he's left on probation, it be converted to just a regular term.
Thank you. Laura, I need some copies. Could you make some copies of this judgment for me? Mr. Knopfinger, you do know a lot about this. Angelique came in the middle, but she has a lot of background too. And you got a lot of emotional capital invested in this case. What would you like me to know?
Well, a couple things, Judge. I'm of course familiar with Mr. Matthys's history. Talk a little about his criminal history. Yeah, one of those cases was dismissed. I don't see any other criminal history other than the 2 drunk driving convictions. And the purpose of the program too, and the biggest incentive, I think not just for Mr. Matthysse, but then also for public safety, is that he has an interlock installed. As of the end of last month, he'd been in the program for 140 days. We hadn't gotten to that point where he could get an interlock. And the reason I think that's so important, Judge, is because if he doesn't get the interlock, his license is going to be revoked for 5 years. And that's going to follow him around whether or not he does a stint in jail, short or long term. He did some work in the program, and I think you'll get, and Ricky owned up to the violations. He usually isn't one for saying deny, deny, deny.
No, he owned everything essentially. Even when he gave up, he acknowledged it. But yeah, he didn't. He accepted responsibility as far as that goes,
which is good. And sometimes that happens. Yeah, he is younger than many of the participants. We've had some participants who have been successful despite their youth. I just worry about his criminal history starting to develop here in terms of suspended license. He has made efforts to get employment. It's been difficult for him. He's explained to the court the reasons for that. I think it's more difficult to get a job than it was maybe a couple months ago too. So it's sort of compounding challenge for him. He does want to be in the program, Judge. I think it's an uphill battle. If the court is inclined to discharge him from the program, I'd ask the court to consider the things that he has done. It hasn't been just failure after failure. I mean, he has gone to numerous AA meetings. He has done more than 50 drug and alcohol screens. Yes, some of those have been positive. He has gone to individual outpatient therapy. He has gone to group therapy, and he's attended sessions before, Your Honor. So I really wish that he could stay in the program. Some of these challenges seem sort of separate and apart from the program, right? Getting the job, having the money to pay for the program. And I don't really have the answers for the court today in terms of how that can happen. Quite frankly, Ricky's going to have to figure it out. I just worry about no interlock and then the next 5 years.
Well, let's talk about last week or the week before. A young man named Riley really needed to be in sobriety court. He's got 2 drunk drivings in a short order. He lives on Youngman Road in Constantine, and he works at Stryker in Kalamazoo or Portage. Long way. And I couldn't fit him into sobriety court because in part Ricky is taking up a spot. So this kid he's revoked and he won't be able to get his license. We sort of reserved it thinking maybe if he could come in. The other thing, he's the same age as Ricky.
Listen to the defense attorney here. This is classic damage control. He's highlighting every positive. Meetings attended, therapy sessions, honesty, accountability. That's actually smart lawyering. In sentencing, you don't pretend the bad stuff didn't happen. You show growth, willingness, and effort. But you can hear the subtext. Even he knows this is a long shot.
And we've come to the conclusion that 23 may be too young to be able to do this. Mr. Matthysse, I'm going to hear from you in a minute, but in the core there is a good kid. But you keep shooting yourself in the foot. We took you in the group despite your Facebook posts of white boy Ricky holding a bunch of money and a gun and acting like a thug. We thought, well, maybe we can make some progress. Then there's that episode where someone in your car is burning rubber in the parking lot at the high school. Sure looks like you in the driver's picture to me, but you said, oh yeah, I let somebody borrow my car. You got one conviction and then one arrest. And it would seem like being arrested would be an impetus to not get the third one. And this one was bad. You were drinking with your dad, shots, beer, burning out in your neighborhood, setting your car.
This part is wild. Burning rubber, shots with dad, car literally catching fire. This isn't just poor decision making. This is the kind of behavior judges use as exhibit A for why sobriety court might not be enough. And notice the judge's tone. Disappointment mixed with genuine concern. He wants his kid to succeed, but the chaos is becoming impossible to manage.
Car on fire, just bad, reckless, young, high testosterone, low impulse control behavior. And we wanted to try to intervene because we thought there was and I still believe it, there's a good kid in there. You've been very respectful to me. Many of the days you would wear a coat and a suit to court, and you were trying to do this, but there were so many roadblocks. One of the issues, you had that job at International Paper, and we were trying to finagle this and make that work, and then you lost that job and you were going to get another job. And you didn't have a license. Everybody in sobriety court doesn't have a license. Every single person, at least to start. And it's hard. And when you're young, you might not have the maturity to do it all. Then you started doing stuff like missing appointments, showing up late for group. It was dragging down the rest of the group. And as I indicated, somebody else didn't get in who needed it because you're in there. And the group was ready to pull the pin on you, with the exception of Luke, 4 times ago. And we kept saying, all right, let's see if we can make this work. So we did make some progress. Maybe it opened the window a little bit for your eyes to see that there is going to be an issue. But Luke's right. If you're revoked, I don't see a path to having you be successful in sobriety court program. You lack the maturity. You lack the support that we need. If I continue on sobriety court probation or regular probation, I'm just setting you up to fail. So I want to get off your back. Having said all that, is there anything you'd like to tell me?
Yeah, I think either decision that you decide to make, I haven't necessarily been set up for failure. You've given me a sense of structure, I guess. So starting to do celebrate recovery in jail to continue my sobriety, and I do have the tools that I need to know now from sobriety court to continue my sobriety, whether I do time or not. I do understand the frustration from you and everybody else in the group, because I guess I'm kind of taken back on their effort, and it's probably frustrating for them that they put all the time and work that they needed to into the group when I was slacking off. I wouldn't say that I'm immature. I think I'm improving in that area due to the group, and I appreciate you letting me join the group in the first place, and I think that's about it.
Well, Rick, that's about the best answers I could ask for. And when you're this young, it's hard to accept the fact that you can't drink. You were at 224, and I think the other two were very high too. And as I said, it's fun. You know, you were in some places where you shouldn't have been. You were with friends at a bachelor party and some other stuff, and they're all out having fun, and you can't. We also had some marijuana camel sticking its nose under the tent. I bet you got a lot of friends because you are personable. But you're not ready for this. So I ordered 91 days and deferred a whole bunch of it. I'm gonna revoke your probation. I'm gonna get off your back. My fear is you're.
And there it is. Probation revoked. Jail time ordered. Not out of anger, out of necessity. Judges often talk about getting off someone's back, and that's exactly what this is. The court stepping away so natural consequences can force change. But here's the crucial takeaway. The real punishment isn't the 62 days in jail. It's the long-term license revocation. 5 years. For a young person, that's life-altering.
Now gonna be on the driving suspended merry-go-round. I'm gonna order 75 days, not 91, credit 13. Leaving 62 days to serve. There'll be good time in there. If you're a trustee, you'll get additional good time. Luke hit the nail on the head. The worst part of this is losing your license. And in order to get it back, you're gonna have to show sobriety. You're a car guy. I don't know what else to say. We're looking for Mr. Moore's case. Is that you, Mr. Munoz? Which case are you here?
I'm an attorney with David Moore's office.
All right, is Mr. Munoz here?
He is, I just have to find him.
All right, thanks. We'll be ready for him next. I'm gonna see you again. I hope not in here. I'll be here for another year. And I hope you don't come back in here. I hope you get out, get a job. I'm off your back. You won't owe me any money. You won't have to test. You won't have to go to treatment. You won't have to go to AA. I'd encourage you to do that anyway. But you aren't gonna be able to drive. All right, Mr. Matthysse. I wish Autumn could have been